The Hall of Concord was the most sacred place in the Galactic Union, a colossal chamber carved into the heart of the Citadel where centuries-old pacts had prevented countless wars. Here, even the fiercest species laid down their grudges at the negotiating table. Or so they claimed. But that fragile peace cracked the day the Rhuln Imperium arrived. The Rhuln were massive, reptilian conquerors from the Orion Spur, scales like black iron, eyes like molten gold. They'd spent decades pretending to honor treaties while quietly building fleets in the dark. When they finally struck, they didn't bother with demands. They simply marched into neutral systems, raising colonies and branding entire species as their chattel. That's why the council had gathered now, hundreds of delegates clustered beneath the shining dome, voices quivering in fear as they debated the impossible, surrender or total annihilation. In the middle of it all, the humans sat quiet. Ambassador Janessa Ward, Earth's envoy, listened as Chancellor Krynt, the oldest of the Union's leaders, addressed the room. His gossamer wings drooped under the weight of defeat. The Rhuln fleet doubles ours at every turn. We've lost 6 systems in a month. If we do not yield now, they will slaughter billions. The hall fell to a hush. The fear in the air was thick enough to taste. Many eyes turned to the human delegation, Earth, the unpredictable Deathworlders, the apex predators no one fully understood. Ward stood slowly. She was not imposing, mid-40s, hair streaked with silver, eyes the gray of a storm at sea. But when she spoke, her voice carried like thunder. "You want to yield?" she asked, scanning the delegates. "After they've bombed our cities, enslaved your children, butchered your colonies?" Krynt fluttered nervously. "Ambassador Ward, we must be realistic. Their war beasts outnumber us. They're Shipsu." Ward cut him off, calm but cold. "You think numbers win a war? You think the Rhuln invented cruelty?" She turned then, locking eyes with the hulking Rhuln general seated at the head of the chamber. General Vorik, his scaled chin lifted in mocking arrogance. "You want war?" she said, her voice steady as stone. "We'll give you a war." A hush rippled through the hall. Vorik bared his jagged teeth, amused. "You believe your fragile species can stand alone? You humans have always hidden behind your council treaties." Ward's lips curled into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We were polite. That's not the same thing." 2 weeks later, the Rhuln fleet arrived at Proxima Junction, a mining world on the human frontier. Vorik expected an easy conquest, a show of force to break Earth's resolve. What he got instead was a nightmare. The humans didn't send equal numbers. They didn't match ship for ship. They sent packs of agile destroyers and stealth corvettes that slipped through the Rhuln lines like blades in the dark. They sabotaged engines mid-warp, turned supply ships into bombs, dropped orbital drop pods right into the Rhuln command bunkers. On the ice plains of Proxima Junction, Rhuln shock troops charged a small human outpost, believing it undefended. They found the Earth Marines waiting, grins hidden behind visors, rail guns primed. The battle didn't last an hour. Rhuln reinforcements dropped in waves, but the humans used the terrain like an old hunting ground, mine shafts collapsing onto armored walkers, ambush teams striking from hidden tunnels, drone swarms tearing apart Rhuln air cover. And in the comms chatter, Vorik kept hearing one phrase echo again and again. "You want war? We'll give you a war." By the 3rd week, Vorik's fleet was in tatters. His soldiers, bred from birth to believe they were unstoppable, cowered in the dark, terrified of the Deathworlders who fought like the monsters of old myths. They didn't care for honor or ritualized combat. They cared about winning, and they did so with ruthless, terrifying creativity. When Vorik's final dreadnought tried to flee, a squad of human saboteurs boarded it from stealth pods, disabling its engines and dragging it back into orbit like a trophy. At the next council session, Vorik, bruised and shackled, was shoved before the same delegates he had mocked. Ambassador Ward stood again, her hands clasped behind her back, voice cold as winter. "Let it be known, humans don't start wars. But if you push us, if you threaten what we protect, you'd better pray you're ready for how we finish them." She looked at the silent chamber. Species who had once whispered that humans were unpredictable predators now saw them for what they truly were. Guardians with claws sharpened by the worst their death world could throw at them. And when provoked, they didn't just fight. They ended wars.